Okay, welcome to another vintage video here, and just as I begin here, I want to remind everyone that if you go down below in the description, you can skip around to the matches that you want. All of the rounds in this video are live recorded, but in my last couple of videos, it's been a mix of live recorded and replay, so if you go check out those, remember to go down in the description. You can skip around to see the live recorded ones or the replays, depending on what you want to see. And the other thing is, I'm looking for other ideas for decks to play. If you got any ideas for cards or strategies or things I should be checking out in Vintage, put them down in the comments below, and then I'll have a think about any ideas that are down there. If I can try and see if I can play anything coming up. Now, just a bit of a note there, I don't have a rental account, so if anything's too expensive, I probably won't be picking it up, but definitely looking for ideas of what people are interested in. Alright, so back into the league now. We're playing Mono Black Initiative. So Mono White Initiative is a very powerful deck in Vintage for a long time now. It's been a staple. And I've played a lot of the Mono Black versions on this channel. You can check out a number of different Mono Black decks on the channel if you just go and look for them. But we're playing this one, and this is the first time I've tried Ravenloft Adventurer, which is an initiative creature. So like in Mono White Initiative, you've got White Plume Adventurer and Seasoned Dungeoneer, which enters the initiative when it comes into play, which is an EDH mechanic that lets you do things like draw a card, deal 5 damage to opponent, find basic lands, and then eventually if you get to the end of the dungeon, you get a creature into play with +1/+1 counters on it and silliness. We also have Vicious Battle Rager as our other initiative creature here. So they're different, and I'm playing 4 of Ravenloft, 1 Vicious, but I'm not 100% sure that's correct. I think it might depend on the meta. So the big advantage with Ravenloft is obviously 3 power versus 1 on the Vicious, and it can exile creatures from play instead of going into the graveyard. And this is important with Lurrus. So one thing that can stop or be annoying for Mono Black is if they have a Lurrus in play, they can keep looping creatures, especially Orcish Bowmasters, with Lurrus into play and chump blocking. This stops that. So if their Orc dies or whatever, it just gets exiled, which is very, very, very nice. The Vicious Battle Rager has the advantage of having 5 toughness, so it can block things like a Hollow One nicely right away, which is very strong, and it can block a little bit better. That's relevant, and also it has this ability here where it becomes blocked. The creature's controller loses 5 life, so if your opponent takes the initiative and leaves back a blocker, that can be really good. So when you swing, they have to have a very serious choice there of 5 damage or giving you the initiative. So I think they're both strong options, and I'm not 100% sure this is the right mix here, but it's something to think about. A lot of the other cards are pretty standard here. So like the Grief Reanimate package is standard in my Mono Black videos if you watched any of the other ones here. Barrogoyf is not a typical card played in black scam decks in Vintage, but it's one that I really like, paired with the Ancient Tomb here. It's very easy to get out. I think this card is really strong, even in Vintage. Bogart Challer is a really nice piece of graveyard hate that you can Ancient Tomb out, and also a land. We've got Dothy Voidwalker as additional graveyard hate here. Demonic Tutor is just a staple. Be the Swarm being removed, it can also hit Oath of Druids and Urza Sagas, very nice. Only playing 1 chain this time, then 1 on the sideboard. So this card, again, is another one I've played in a number of other Mono Black decks. The advantage here over Orcish Bowmaster is the ring mainly. So the ring gives protection, and then if you have a deck that can just do a bunch of stuff under ring protection, the Orc isn't going to do much, especially against Jewel Shops. The chain will still stop them from gaining a card advantage here. So that's kind of the big reason here. Now, Jewel Shops is on the decline a bit, so I think there's a case to be made to play Orcish Bowmasters over the chains right now. So I'll leave that up to you, but I still like chains. But if you want to play Orcish Bowmasters, that's reasonable now. Melliker Rebirth is like a 5th copy of Reanimate. That's also sort of a land. It does the same thing with Reanimate, so you can evoke Grief, and then with the trigger on the stack, you use Melliker Rebirth to keep it in play. So then when it dies, it just comes back. So you get the double Grief and keeping Grief in play, similar to Reanimate. And it also is a land, which is quite nice. Dark Ritual, another staple here to power out the decks. And then, let's see. Another important thing to note here is the Still Moon Cavalier. So, this is one of the big reasons why I kind of like this deck over the Mono White Initiative one. I think this one's actually pretty well positioned. So, Momentum Breaker is now becoming a staple in Blue-Black Lurrus Control and Lurrus Paradoxical Outcome decks. And that can kill Still Moon Cavalier, where previously it was extremely difficult for these decks to remove this creature. But a couple things. One, we're running 3 Bogart Trawlers, 2 Dalthi Voidwalkers in the main, as graveyard hate, and then we've got Dalthi Voidwalker in the side. We have a lot of tools in order to fight the graveyard here. So with Dalthi Voidwalker played, they can't loop the Momentum Breaker, and then Momentum Breaker just becomes actually worse. Momentum Breaker then just becomes a worse card than, say, a Fatal Push or a Swords or something, if you can attack the graveyard like that, especially with Dalthi Voidwalker. Bogart Trawler is only going to get them if they're a bit sloppy, but it can. Let's see. And then, if you are able to keep your Still Moon Cavalier around, similarly to like in Mono White Initiative, it's just really strong with the initiative mechanic. So, it's very good at protecting the initiative from Frog. You can give this creature flying. It's got pro white, pro black. It can always block a Frog. Then if you have a black open, it can always take the initiative against those blue black white Lurrus control decks. So it's very good at keeping the initiative around and winning those battles. So these two, Vicious Battle Rager, Ravenloft getting the initiative, and then Still Moon Cavalier making sure you can hang on to it, and it's just very strong. So that synergy is still good there. Don't think I touched on Shield Druid and Opposition Agent. These are just powerful black creatures that also have a nice taxing effect, which is what we want here. We want our creature to be doing double duty. We need to beat down and win and put up a clock. But this is vintage. You also need to tax your opponent and stop them from doing powerful stuff like drawing cards and searching their library, which is why these are in there. Another bit of tech here is Vexing Bauble is restricted. One of the stronger cards you can be playing in Vintage still, even as a one of. But we also have Voidmere here. Now, Voidmere isn't really played, but I think it should be. And the reason now is I think it's a lot better than what it was before Vexing Bauble, because I think having one Vexing Bauble in your deck makes Voidmere much, much, much better. And the reason being is if you have these 3, and I have this 3 package here, and if you draw Voidmere, and then you have a Vexing Bauble in play, you can play the Voidmere and cycle the Bauble. So whenever you have a scenario where you have Vexing Bauble and a Voidmere at the same time, you can just draw with the Vexing Bauble, regardless of whether it was the first one you drew or the second one you drew, which is very nice in order to limit the downsides of Voidmere. One of the big downsides of Voidmere is you can't cycle it. But being able to have a package that includes 1 Vexing Bauble and 2 Voidmere means that if we ever have one of each, you can just cycle the Bauble, regardless of what order you find them in. The only scenario where Voidmere gets a little bad is if you have both Voidmeres, but playing 2 of a deck, that card that you don't want to see 2 of is a very common and accepted strategy, just in Magic in general. But I think then having the Bauble as the 3rd effect here is good. And then Voidmere has another advantage right now in that Raker shops, which is my colorless deck built around 4 tops for Ring, 4 Glaring Flesh Raker here, and aggro creatures. This is very good against that deck. If you get that down turn 1 on the play, which we can do quite easily with our mana here, it's very, very, very strong. And that's a key deck right now. So I was even considering a 3rd Voidmere in this deck. And I don't think that's crazy right now with how good and popular Raker Shops is as of the recording of this video here in the end of February, beginning of March 25. So that's my little spiel there. I think Voidmere should be good. If you want to check out more Voidmere action this Vampire Soldiers deck and the Sorin Tricks deck that I played, those are recent videos on my channel here, are both strong, positive finish leagues. So if you want to see more Voidmere action, check out those. Again, it's the Sorin Tricks deck and the Vampire Soldiers deck are both strong, positive finishes with the Voidmere. I think I covered all the cards here then. The mana base looks a bit more like Mono White Initiative than some of my other Mono Black decks on this channel, especially with the 3 Chrome Moxes here. With the Initiative creatures, you really want to jam these down, ideally turn 1, or turn 2 behind a lock piece. Really turn 2 behind a lock piece. But we have a ton of fast mana here. It definitely is possible to play a lock piece and Initiative creature all on turn 1. And so we've got a mana base here that's a bit closer to the Mono White Initiative one with the Chrome Moxes, but then similar to that deck, we've got Ancient Tombs, it's Wasteland and Strip Mine. In the sideboard, we've got 3 more Feed the Swarms, other removal spells that also deal with Oath of Druids, which is a problem for us. Another Dauthi Voidwalker for against Dredge, and also bring it in against some of the Lurrus control decks and some other stuff sometimes. Voice of Despair is one that comes in against Mono White Initiative. That's a strong one. And I think a bit of theory crafting here, but I also like it against some of the fast aggro decks in the format right now, like Raker shops. That deck can just race us. And I think just having, especially on the draw, more play on turn 0 of the game is good. So if they go like turn 1, Patchwork Automaton, a bunch of stuff, and play another creature, like, I don't know, Foundry Inspector or something, this can just take that out and put you back on a even keel there, which I quite like. Leyline of the Void for Bizarre decks. Another Still Moon Cavalier to bring in against Mono White Initiative, and then Lurrus Control. 3 Null Rods in the chains for a lot of the artifact combo decks out there. So things like the stock up PO deck with Lurrus, that's become very strong. Jewel Shops is on the decline, but still around, and those are very important cards for that matchup. And I think these are still good against Raker shops. They aren't just going to win you the game, because that deck can absolutely just aggro you out, even under a Null Rods. But it does turn off a lot of their lines and a lot of their scarier things, so I think it's still good there. And then chains specifically for the PO decks, Lurrus PO, and Jewel Shops. So I think that's about it. We're going to get into the league here in a second. If you can like and subscribe, that would be really appreciated there. And then again, like I said in the beginning of the video, any ideas for other card or decks I should be checking out, put them in the comments below. And thanks for tuning in. Okay, we're on the play here. All right, we'll keep that. Alright, we didn't get forced, which is good. Maybe. Maybe it just means we're dead to PO, but we'll see. Definitely could be, but it's a PO version and we're just dead. Swamp. The fuck does that mean? We got our Still Moon Cavalier down. Let's see what they got. Cycling, Lurrus revealed. That's okay. Underground Sea. So blue-black Lurrus. They must have drawn the Sapphire for turn. They play a Ponder. Could be a combo version then, if they've got Ponders. We don't have our Malachor Rebirth open, unfortunately. So that happens. They don't actually have anything in the graveyard I'm too afraid of, so I'm just going to swing here. And we've got the Malachor Rebirth up if they want to try and push something. Brainstorm. Okay. Hoping we can just win next turn. We got a draw, but they have a Bowmasters that can stop us a little bit. They don't buy Lurrus here, that means they probably have a Bowmasters. Because they can't Fatal Push right now either of our things. And we just win. Okay, they don't have an Orc. I want the other Still Moon. Don't love the Void Mirrors on the draw here. Bring in the Feed the Swarms. Don't love Opposition Agent in this matchup. Take out one ritual. Alright, see how this goes. Maybe it should have been a Chrome Mox. No, I think the ritual, because we want kind of stable mana. They're going to try and waste us out here. We'll bring the Void Mirrors back in for game 3 on the play if we get there. But they're not amazing on their draw. They stop Force of Will still, but we're not hitting the trying to hit the Moxen on turn 1 is just not quite good enough. Hopefully we draw a land here. Okay, that just resolves. Interesting. Alright, that's all we can do, I guess. Probably gonna get by Fatal Push, I imagine. Yep. It's okay. Really thinking here. Alright, they got the Saga. It's fine. We can hit that with the Feed the Swim, ideally. Demonic Tutor. Okay. I assume they're going to get a recall here. But could be something else. Maybe a Force of Will. I think we're going to go down the right and try and find a Grief. A Grief would be quite nice here. Oh, they're going for Lotus. Interesting. What does that mean? Ooh, the Still Moon Cavalier is good. I think we do want the Knight. Interesting. I think we want to get the Cavalier down. I think the Cavalier is where we want to be. Must have drawn the bauble for turn. They know our next card. Okay. frog. Treasure cruise. Alright, that's a problem. That could be very scary here. Knowing our hand is not ideal. Ponder. A little worried they're on a combo version at this point. A lot of ponders. I don't. Does the. I'm trying to think if the blue-black version is normally running ponders right now. Chooses not to use ponders' ability, so they like their cards. That's not good. That's a problem. Stash. They knew we drew the tomb. Let's try this for starters. So we could just get comboed out next turn, potentially. They have like Orcish Bowmaster and Time Twister. That's kind of probably the biggest concern. Or play a land, they can buy, play Lurrus, replay Lotus. That doesn't. I don't think that wins or anything. They're thinking. They got something. This thing gets, what does this do? When opponent controls would die, eggs up a hit counter on it. When it attacks, you've completed the dungeon, which we will next turn. Defending player loses 1 life for each card they own and eggs up a hit counter. Right now they've got nothing with a hit counter. See what they do. The only thing we can do right now at instant speed is use Malachor Rebirth to save a creature, I guess. Interesting, nothing. I think we want a Grief if we can find a Grief. Or do we want a Shieldred? I think I want the Grief. I think I want the Grief. What do they got? It kind of forces their hand a bit. Oh, they do have the Time Twister and the Orc. Why did they not? Why in the world did they not just do it? I don't understand that at all. Force of Will, Force of Negation, Push, Frog, Frog, Twister. So, Twister, yeah. Okay, I don't... That is confusing to me. Oh, it's our upkeep. We still can draw a card. Okay. They got plenty of counter magic up. I think we just swing. We're going to leave back the Still Moon. We'll have 2 blockers then to handle their creatures. Alright. You're gonna ping it. That's fine. Let's get them to burn some resources here. Negation, pitching, frog. Short. And we don't have any creatures in the graveyard, so we just go to our turn here. They would have had a land, they could have played Lurrus, buy it, etc. They don't have a land, they just gotta play frog here. Let's see. You know, I think I want to push some damage through. Maybe I don't. No, I think I do. Gotta push. Well, maybe I should just Malachir rebirthed it. Yeah, that was a little silly in retrospect. I wasn't fully thinking there. I should have just Malachir'd it. But I think it's okay. I'm going to give our knight flying. To block the frog. I don't think we can pump it though. Yeah, +1, 2. We don't have the second color there. They're gonna pitch their Tarn to save their frog. That's fine. We're just gonna forge up our Still Moon there. Let's see, what do we want to do? I'm going to Barrowglyph to get some life. Or a Bauble. Bauble would stop a lot of stuff. I think I'm happy with the Barrowglyph. Black. 2 here. Gain some life here. Okay. Realize that we just let frog connect. That was a bit of a whoopsie. That should be okay. Yeah, should not have tapped out a black there. That was dumb. Hopefully it doesn't bite us. Ah, crap, that could bite us. Alright, well, they targeted themselves. I think Time Walk would kill us here. Land Time Walk. Yeah, that was just bad play. That was really dumb. Yep. Yep, that was silly. But we'll see what they got. They do need land time luck, I think. Yeah, that was just unnecessary. Could have just sat here in one. Just. Or I could have just got a removal spell for the frog. All of these things would have been smarter. Alright, well. Nice thing about streaming is I have to sit here and think about these things and talk about them, so yeah. Learning a bit here. Actually, they just need the time walk because the frog can swing and get a land. Play the land, time walk, win. So yeah, we could absolutely lose here because I was silly. I'm gonna jump the frog. Pitching days. We got an initiative here. Yeah, this was just terrible. Alright, time walk. Nope, we got lucky. We got real lucky here. We can pump this, and that with the trap should just win. It's going to do it now to make sure. No, I actually don't, because this is 4 plus 5. That's actually enough. So, yeah, should have just held back Be Still Moon last turn to block, but oh well. Still got there, it looks like. That's fine. They're doing a clever play here. They're killing their own creature, so... Trap. Do. Yeah, that was close, and I thought it was going to be there for a second, but worked out. Alright, good one. Off to the next match. Okay, we're on the play for this round. See what our opponent does here. They have to reveal a Lurrus. They do, they have a Lurrus. I think we keep this. Pitch one of the Douthies. Let's see what they're working with over there. Not sure if it's going to be Lurrus PO or Lurrus control yet. We have to take the force of will here, fortunately. We get our swamp. Unfortunately, they know to play around wasteland here. Flooded strand. I think we go forward. I think we're going to try and push damage here. And we lost the flip. Not ideal. Play the land they know about. We'll swing. And we got a barrowglyph. Alright, let's see what they do here. Do they do a surveil land? That would let us waste them, which would be quite good. They're probably not going to. Probably just going to get an island here. I think we're just going to try and get rid of that right away. Does that mean they don't have a basic, or they've got a basic in hand or something? We can just F6 here. We don't have any plays. Got a tundra. I mean, they have swords. Trap. Tails again. Oh boy. Alright, I thought we were lagging there. We got that win. It's pretty good. Okay, I don't love the void mirrors on the draw. Definitely want to bring in a knight. I like removal. We have feed the swarms. Don't love opposition agent. We trim a little bit of top end here. On the play, we'll bring back in the void mirrors. I think there's a case to keep them in. I think I might even want to reduce the curve even more, to be honest. It's tough. think I do want to go a bit smaller. We do have a lot of top end here. I don't think they're going to have a I think that's okay. See how this goes. Alright, we got a scam start here, so we'll keep that. Oh, I got a Lotus, okay. No play though, interesting. That's Screams Orcs. It also Screams Recall, okay. I've already cast their recall. I don't love this Chains of Mephistopheles now, so let's get rid of that. Alright, let's get... Kind of just want to take the frog, to be honest. This is a tough one. I think we have to take the Force of Negation first. I think we take the frog here. Now the question is, are they going to actually throw one of these off? So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They could Treasure Cruise. I think we're just going to let them do it. And then we can try and take something afterwards. Alright, let's see what they do. Flooded Strand, okay. They don't want anything. Alright. Oh shit. Ah, crap. Just passed through my turn. That was quite bad. It's annoying. Yep, that's not good. Well, we can F6 here. They know we don't have anything. Yeah, maybe I should have just held back the the grief there. Just gonna trade the damage this way. Could you really use a land here? Yeah. Or I think we're dead, so we'll have a game 3 soon to try and redeem ourselves here. You got it. Alright, let's see. What we got? Urborg. Okay. Play the Urborg. We can grief pitching one of these still moons. Probably should not have put the Urborg into play. Could have just tried to pretend we have a reanimate or something. And then we'll try and play a Still Moon Cavalier here, which I'm guessing means another Force of Will, if they force the first one. No. So we just swing, and that's all we can do here. Ah, they got a momentum breaker, a new tech. New tech causing us problems here. I don't think we can beat that, so I'm gonna scoop. They can just kind of keep looping the breaker every turn. Alright, so on the play, I do want the Void Mirrors back in. Can get rid of the chains, I think. They got swords, so the shoulder is not quite as good. I'm getting rid of one of those. Ferroglaive, Venture, Voidwalker, Bauble. I think this is okay. Yeah, let's give this a try. Um, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we keep it. It's risky. If they counter this, then we can reanimate it. Oh, they exiled it. Alright. Fair enough. That's bad. Yeah, the mind break trap was bad. Was hoping they would force it, not mind break trap it. Probably did. Does that mean they've got an Orcish Bowmaster here, I guess? We have to attack, we're dead. if we just sit here, so long goodbye, that's fine. Alright. Swords? Swords. No? Lavinia. Alright. Better than a swords. Yes. Barrowglyph. Buy an ancient tomb. Buy a barrowglyph. Okay, let's see what else they got. Alright, they drew cards. And they probed us. Gotta grow our barrowglyph? No, still 3/4. We can hard cast the grief, so let's do that. Spell Pierce exiled. They've got a lot of lands. I think we just want the grief. Consign the memory and Spell Pierce. Sign to memory, I guess. So they can buy and play Lurrus. They can't actually bring anything back. Black Lurrus, Wastelands, play Lurrus. Sure. Alright, so let's swing first. I think they have to chump block here. Yes. Grief. Okay. Dark Ritual. And we got there. Alright, another a solid solid match win there against Lurrus control. Game 2 was a little rough. We saw the power momentum breaker against the Still Moon Cavalier, but even after our turn 1 big play got a mind break trap, we still got there, so happy to do that. Next round. Alright, we're on the draw here against Miharu. Not the best hand in the world. They've got Lurrus. We do have some good draws here. I think we keep it. If they're on the PO version of Lurrus, this will be pretty bad. Polluted Delta, Mox Jet, go. Grief would be our best draw. Recall would be bad. Yeah, we're dead. We tried. Don't even know. Could try and lean into a keeping them off mana. Which probably won't work, but we will see. I got a frog, yeah. Some sort of moxen would be decent here. Ouch. All right. Yeah, we're in trouble. The turn 1 recall is admittedly a big reason. Oh boy, and they even have a nice spellbomb. Quite good against. Oh, now we have the grief and they've got the spellbomb. Oh boy. To be honest, I'm almost tempted just to pitch the reanimate at this point. I'm gonna pitch the Voidwalkerkins. Give this a shot. Fluster Storm, oh boy. Force of Will. Test of Talents. Jeez. We're so dead. These two only hit instants and sorceries, so they can't hit our... They can't hit our chains here. They're just drawing here because they won't be able to afterwards, or not profitably afterwards with the chains in play. Yep. Hoping they get rid of that bowmaster. Kind of the dream here. Swamp. That is not a bowmaster. Please play the bowmaster. Or anything, really. The bowmaster can ping our Bogart Trawler quite nicely, which is a problem. Alright, I'm just gonna... exile their graveyard. And we'll ping down our guy. Alright. We're almost certainly just dead to the frog, though, so... yeah, we can just scoop here. Next game. We'll bring in the Still Moon. Bring in the Feed the Swarms. Take out some of the top end here. What else do I want to take out? I think that's okay. I think I've probably boarded like 3 different ways at this point, but it's okay. Generally, they've got Wasteland and Pressure, so I think on the draw we'll take out again if we manage to win this game, we'll take out the 2 Void Mirrors on the draw probably. Because look at their Moxen down first, and then they're only going to hit Forces, which isn't great. But on the play, I think they're fine. Sure. See what they're working with over there. Force of Will, Nile Spellbomb. So you have to take the Force of Will with the first one here. Or else our hand just doesn't do anything. I think the Demonic Tutor. Yep. Alright. Dark Ritual would be a good draw. Ancient Tomb. A lot of cards are good draws here. Strip Mine. Nile Spellbomb. Okay. We want to cast that Trawler. We will play it if we don't find a land, but playing that on 3 would be good. Delta. Strip. Okay. Ancient Tomb would be probably our best draw here. Okay. Swing first. They've got that Snapcaster and the Cruise in hand. They could hit us with an Orc next turn, but they can't this turn. They're just going to cantrip, that's fine. Okay, that's a good draw from them. I think we play the Rebirth. There's definitely a case to hold that, but next turn definitely being able to play the Grief is pretty good. Give that a shot. Snapcaster Mage, okay. Force of Negation, Test of Talents, Treasure Cruise, Flusterstorm. I guess the Cruise. go to game 3 here. So they got Nihil Spellbound, but it only hits their cards. So I think there's a case to keep in the reanimates. But I am tempted. I don't think the Void Mirrors are great on the draw. We can turn 1 them, they're very nice. If not, they're not amazing. I think bringing in another Dothy is okay. And then maybe another Ravenloft. Alright, let's give that a shot. We'll keep that. That's a pretty strong hand. They're mulling to 5, but obviously it's Lurrus. They could certainly still crush us. Polluted Delta, go. Okay. Alright, how do we sequence this hand? I think Feed the Swarm is probably our softest card. And ideally we've got 4 mana, Lotus plus Tomb. That gets us turn 1 Shieldred plus Reanimate the Grief. So we'll play out the Tomb. I hit the Feed the Swarm and see what they do. Swamp. Okay. Interesting. Cycle. Oh, they need the land. Okay. So we have to take the Force of Negation here. Or else we can't reanimate. We'll take the Psychic Frog. And then we'll play our Shieldred. Yeah, not a bad turn 1, for sure. So, we got that one. Definitely showing the strength of all the fast mana and free cards we've got there. So, strong match. On to the next one. Okay, we've got a interesting hand here. It's a little scary being on the draw with no... On the play, there's an excellent hand. On the draw, this is scary for sure, but I do think we keep it. Ancient Tomb, Grim Monolith, okay. Raker shops, alright. think this is a Greet's Fishing Grief. Oh, it's not. It's with blue. Interesting. I think we take the PO. That's pretty scary here. The key gives a lot of mana, though. I think the PO is just too scary. We'll play our bubble, and that's all we got. Another one. That's bad. That is bad for us. All right. How is it even possible to get back into it? I think we need the life gain or we're super dead. And we don't have double black for a... We don't have double black for a Sheoldred. And I guess there is a case. We take 4 next turn. I think we have to have the life gain now. So I think we need the Barrowglyph. So yeah, this is not good for anyone keeping track at home. We need them to hit like Mox, you know, kind of stuff. Even Force of Will, they can draw Force of Will, and if they untap the Sink in the Stupor, they can just hardcast it. So our bubble's not even doing a ton here. Oh shit. Ah, crap. Yeah, we're just dead. Wow. Flaring Flash Raker, good card. Okay. Cool. So, the Stillmoon Cavaliers are awful. Chains, Null Rod. We don't need all of this top end here. I think I'm actually going to keep the Battle Rager in, because this one, even if they block it with like a spawn, they take damage, so that's actually a bit better there. Don't need that. Feed the Swarm. Leyline of the Void, Force of Despair. I like Force of Despair on the draw. I think on the play, we don't need it. Does Opposition Age even do anything in this matchup? I don't think so. Maybe a second Feed the Swarm then. Force of Despair, Feed the Swarm, Dalthy Voidwalker. Alright, let's give this a shot. I'm not even sure how good the Null Rods are, to be honest. Can definitely do some work, but a lot of our mana is artifacts. Oh boy. I don't think this is good enough. We can go turn 1 Ravenloft. That gets countered. We have nothing. Yeah, I just think against a combo deck, this is just not good enough. Yeah, I don't like this either, but I think we have to keep this. We just have to hope that we find like a dark ritual or something. Oh boy. Black Lotus, Grafdigger's Cage, Paradoxical Outcome, Top, Time Vault. Oh shit. Oof. So I'm just gonna let them have the Time Vault. They find the combo, so be it. The Grafdigger's Cage is annoying, but it's not the game we're playing right now. So it's the Lotus, the Outcome, or the Top. If they want to use the Outcome, that they have to. Right now, they have to crack the Lotus, and then they can draw 3 cards. That's still good. So I think it has to be Outcome or Top. I think it has to be Outcome. But the Top is definitely a consideration there. And we're in trouble. Alright, so we're just going to waste them here. If we draw a black source next turn, then we can play the Crypt and play the Black Source and the Shieldred there. And they'll play top. Yep, they'll spin top. Oh, they have a PO? They got a PO. Not having a Black Source there was brutal. Certainly a case can be made that we should have gone lower on our mull, but we had some disruption, and then the Shieldred is good. We just didn't find the mana for it quickly enough. So, unless we draw probably a Null Rod here, we're dead. Shit. Yeah, we're just dead, I think. Mm-hmm. Yep. And we lost to the bulky combo there. All right. Definitely on that one, we didn't get our. We wanted cards like Void Mirror. We wanted cards like Null Rod, which we have in the deck. We took a mulligan. On 6, we had a light disruption hand with the Shieldred and the Grief, and I think if we could have landed the Shieldred, we weren't even dead there because they take damage from the draws, and every turn with the Bolt Key, they still take damage when they draw, so you can get this down, it's pretty good, but it was definitely an iffy 6, but you know. Oh well, next round. Alright, next round here, we're on the play. Let's see if they reveal a cat. Do we have a cat gamer? They do. This hand does not do anything strong enough. Oh boy, this hand also doesn't do anything. Shit. If they're on Lurrus control, then I guess this doesn't do anything. Okay, I guess. Oh, I have to. Oh fuck. Actually, I probably should have kept the Wasteland because it's the Wasteland at least would let us cast the Adventure. But then we wouldn't have had a creature now. Black. Alright. Do they want to fight over a Barrow-Bush? No. We can find a mana source next turn, then we can play the adventurer. But this is not looking good, folks. At least we will find out what kind of initiative they are. Play 3 life, yes. Do. Alright, we don't get force there. Swamp. Our Barrowglyph is a 0/1, so it can't deal damage, so we're just going to go to the next turn. Island, okay. And we can just F6 here, we can't really do anything. Frog, orc, okay. Sure. And we'll swing with the Barrowglyph here. Bogart, Troll, or Dothy Voidwalker. I think we want the Dothy Voidwalker. Momentum Breaker. Interesting. So if we we have to destroy a creature here. So we have to choose a creature or vehicle you control. Click creature or vehicle sacrifice. We have to get rid of the Barrowglyph here, unfortunately. Now they can swing with both, but we can get rid of the orc. And the adventurer will exile it. They get a land, and now they have Fatal Push. It is a pretty big blowout here. Saga. Alright. Spellbomb. Okay. I don't think the order here matters. So we'll swing and trap them. They're exiled with the orc there, which is good. Trap. Now, if we play the Urborg, we save 2 life. I think is worth it. We do give them access to some mana stuff here. Black, 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 black. Let's see if they got a Force of Will. They do not. And this would force them to crack this without doing anything. So I think we just do it. So we'll trade the spell bomb here for our reanimate. It's fine. And then we're just gonna F6 here, not really anything we can do. Black, frog, sure. We'll grab the Shieldred. And we got there. Alright. Let's go to game 2. I'm going to do similar stuff. I don't like the Void Mirrors on the play. On the draw I do. I like the Feed the Swarms. So the Vicious Battle Rager has the advantage of, if it gets blocked, they still take damage. So you can keep trading the initiative. But the Adventurer, like you saw in that game, can exile the creatures like orcs to stop them from looping that, which is also quite nice. Leyline of the Void, Force of Despair, Dauthi Voidwalker, Nullrod Voidmere. I don't think the opposition agent's amazing in this matchup. Can bring another Dauthi. Let's give this a try. The Momentum Breaker is definitely a good card in the matchup. Being able to loop it. So having the Graveyard Hate is I think important now. Keep that. Okay, how do we want to sequence this? So in theory, we can get 7 mana right away here. We don't have any black mana after this, which is a problem for sure. So we really need this Lotus to resolve, and if they get pretty aggressive with it, then so like if we just go Lotus here and they force it, we're dead. So I think we do need to do this, unfortunately. So they got the Force of Will. Lorien Orc. Frog. Part of me wants to be greedy and take the frog. That is greedy. We take the Force of Will, we can play. We still have 7 mana. And we can hold our Dark Ritual then, and we can just play Barrogoyf and Stillmoon. But taking the frog would be really, really big if they then ended up forcing the Black Lotus. Or the Dark Ritual. I think we take the Force of Will. I think that's the correct play, even if I did want to be greedy here. Black. So we actually do have to cast a Dark Ritual. But then that lets us go Barrogoyf into Stillmoon Cavalier. Alright, let's see what they do here. Island, Underground Sea, Frog. Sure. We do draw a swamp. That's interesting. That means we can block the Barrogoyf, Psychic Frog, if they give it flying. I think we hold back the Stillmoon. We'll attack with the Barrogoyf and see what happens. Take a Dauthi Voidwalker. Swamp. Okay. They've got the Lorien, so they can play stuff. They have to draw one of their land here, they can still play stuff, so more worried about them getting an engine on. We can block here. They're going to have to pitch in order to protect it. Alright. Got a nice 4-1 there in the league. Good fun. Okay, pretty strong league there. A nice 4-1 finish with mono black initiative here. Bit of a lopsided matchup spread. We played blue black and blue black white, you know, the Lurrus control decks 4 times, beat it every single time. And 2 weeks ago, before Stock Up was printed, Lurrus control was very clearly the best deck in Vintage. Really what you should be playing if you wanted to take down a tournament there. Now, Stock Up does look like it has changed some things. It might be the short term, it might be the long term, we're not sure yet. But having a really strong Lurrus controlled matchup, I think, does bode well with the deck. And obviously, this is only one league, but we played Lurrus control 4 times and won all of them. So I do think, at the very least, it's not a bad matchup. I think we can see that from how we were able to perform in this league here. And we played against some strong pilots too. Miharu is an excellent pilot here, very regular, you know, every week, sometimes every day. Vintage player. The one loss here was to a deck that's definitely off meta here. Bit of a rogue deck. It's blue Raker Shops, so it's kind of a mix of the Jewel Shops deck, which has largely gone out of the meta, kind of pushed out by Lurrus control, and then some of those players are switching to Raker Shops now in order to combat Lurrus control. And this deck where we played against them, it kind of mixes the two. So it's got a lot of the Jewel elements there. We saw things like Sink in the Stupor, Paradoxical Outcome, but it also had Glaring Flesh Raker. And I play a deck on this channel like this. If you go to the, I think I called it Top Lag Glaring Flesh Raker, I got the 4 top combo with the Glaring Flesh Raker there. So like Glaring Flesh Raker and 2 tops is a win. And I played a deck very similar to this before. Obviously we didn't see all of Hazuhiro's deck there, but if you want to check out my video from recently on, you know, Top Lag, Glaring Flesh Raker, you'll see a deck that's very similar to what we played here, and it is strong. I do think it's strong. Glaring Flesh Raker is a very good card that, as you could see in that match, if you watched it, just can spiral out of control very quickly. But that deck is off meta. There is Jewel Shops, which is more common than that deck, and I think we are soft to that because we have the null rods in the board. A lot of times when I play, if you look at other mono black videos on my channel, a lot of times I'll have the null rods main deck, but that deck's kind of been pushed out for the moment. It's as low as I've seen it, really, Jewel Shops in recent memory right now. But then a lot of people are now playing the Raker Shops deck with that Glaring Flesh Raker like in this deck. And Null Rod is fine against that deck. It is good, and I would bring it in against them, but they can just play things like big creatures and smash you. So Null Rod, you can't like just rely on it to win the game like you could against the Jewel Shops deck there. So it's definitely an off-meta deck trying to combine those two strategies there. If it does pick up in play, we'd have to, you know, take a look at that. But right now, I think that's just a sort of an odd one where we weren't super well positioned against the deck. We have tools for sure. You know, we have Void Mirrors and stuff in the main deck. We can bring in Null Rods. We have Chains in the main. We can bring in Chains number 2. Just didn't line up. We did take a mulligan there and then kept a fishy, iffy hand there. I think in retrospect, you know, there's definitely a case to be made to mulligan my game 2 hand there. Game 1, we just got run over. We didn't know what we were playing, and that's okay. But I think against Raker Shops, I think I would be interested to play Raker Shops with this deck. Voidmere is obviously extremely strong against Raker Shops. And we can bring in some cards like Force of Despair to sort of counteract some of their speed, which I think is good. I think there's a case to be made for one more Voidmere in the main. A lot of if you look at some of my other videos here where I've played No Rod, the Vampire Soldiers deck and Sorin Tricks, which are recent videos on my channel, and Strong Leagues, both strong positive finishes in both of those videos. I played, I think, 3 Voidmeres in both of those leagues there. I think you could play a third one here. It's very strongly positioned against Raker shops, especially game 1 on the play. It's pretty much good against every deck in the format. On the draw against Lurrus control, it's really only going to stop forces and Moxen they draw, which isn't as good. But on the play on turn 1, and we can play it turn 1 pretty easily, it's good against everything. So if you want to see more Voidmere action, the Sorin Tricks and the Vampire Soldiers League on my channel are options there. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the deck. I think the biggest concern is that against some of the combo decks, having the initiative creatures in the main here don't really do a lot. And we're basically playing these instead of the Null Rods main, which is kind of the big switch here. And I think that's fine against Lurrus control. I think that does help the matchup there, but if you're in a meta like we are, or on a league meta here, you can see there's still a lot of Lurrus control. So I think this is a fine switch. In the challenges, there's a lot of artifact combo though, so whether or not you want the initiative side of things, you want to push more aggro, or if you want to bring in more hate and go up to 2 chains of Mephistophelies, there are definitely choices. But it was good. Obviously, this card, definitely won a lot of matches for us. Even the ability of exiling creatures to stop them coming back with Lurrus came up, and that was good. A lot of the other cards are pretty standard. If you look at other videos that I've done, you'll see a lot of these other cards. So if you look at the other cards are basically tried and tested as far as I'm concerned, from other leagues, other videos I've done. I think the really big reason to play Ravencroft Adventure and Vicious Battle Rager here, as far as the initiative creatures go, is their combination with Stillmoon Cavalier. Stillmoon Cavalier is solid on its own against a Lurrus control deck, but when it's protecting the initiative and making sure you can keep taking back initiative, or even defend it sometimes, like you can defend it against a frog, I think that's really where this deck shines. Just being able to pair these two together, I think, does make it really tough for Lurrus control. And we have the more graveyard hate than the mono white initiative deck here. You can bring in another Voidwalker, which certainly helps with trying to defeat some of the Lurrus lines here, like where they can recur Momentum Breaker and stuff. You just exile it, then they can't do that, which is quite good. So yeah, overall happy with the deck. If you got any ideas for other cards I should play or other strategies I should be thinking about, leave it down in the comments. Happy to hear what people are thinking. And then if you can throw a like and a subscribe out there, that would be greatly appreciated. All right, thank you, and tune in next time.